Okay, good morning. Um, yeah, some of you have heard we have several working groups at GloBIAS, and one of them is the Training and Education Working Group. And we are quite active group. And the way we are structured is, so we have like roughly once a month some sort of general assembly, but then the actual work is done in sub-working groups. And they just appear if people think they want to work on something, right? So if you have an idea of what you want to do, you could come to the main working training, let's call it the general assembly of the working group, and propose that, and then you can just found a new subgroup, right? And we have several ideas for subgroups also. And basically then a subgroup springs to life once a lead is identified. So one person that actually then takes care of organizing the meetings and so on, and reporting then back to all of us what happened. And here are the currently active ones. So an active working group is the trainer database. So we are making a database of people that actually can train bioimage analysis. And this is led by Beth Simini, which is not here today. And that database is already existing, but I think could be populated with more people. So that is an active activity. Then Esteban, he is leading the work group to basically check what is actually available in terms of bioimage analysis material. So to basically have that list that we can look at this so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And one idea came up now during this meeting here, whether it could be also useful to know what courses really exist and have been taught, because then if you want to create a course somewhere, it would be maybe inspiring for you to see, hey, someone else, what they taught, and maybe you can even contact them. Hey, how did it go? Or do you even want to teach in my course or something? So that was an idea that might be another subgroup or not. So if you are really interested in that, again, reach out. Maybe you become the lead of the existing courses database work group, if you want to. Then another one, this is led by Paula. I think she works with Beth also, right? She's also not here. So there the plan is whether we can do regular drop-in sessions for bioimage analysis consultancy, maybe again once a month. And there the current plan is to make that, because we don't want to be this number 3 in Jean-Yves' list, because then this will be a one-day consultancy per user, right? So to have that very technical, probably just have one just for cell profiler, and then we answer only technical cell profiler questions and not any what is my scientific project question, okay? Because that's not manageable. So, but that didn't happen yet, so that's still being planned. Then that one is fully alive, right? Maybe you have seen it. So this is led by Krista. So we have a seminar series now where there will be seminars, and then we had 3 talks about large language models, and the next 3 will be more about workflows and infrastructure. So again, if you have some ideas what you would like to see there, just get in touch. Then there is one, it's called Develop a Model Screening School. That's led by Rocco, also happening. So if you want to join. So the idea is, can we have a curriculum sort of thing that we can propose, hey, that's how a bioimage analysis training school should look like. And I will tell you what we are currently doing. And basically, if you want to follow along. So this is how one can find it. GloBIAS training material GitHub. So everything is on GitHub. That means if you want to contribute to this training resource, you are very welcome. And we have now 26 contributors already. So and what all of that is basically sort of source code that in the end feeds a website that is automatically built from that. And that is then the website. So basically we have by now maybe 30 or so. We call these things image analysis modules, right? So the idea is that one module should kind of cover one thing. And that's not always easy to decide, right? I mean, every hierarchy you do is not, I mean, it's basically impossible, right? So this is like the intellectually tough part to come up with these categories, and it's not always perfect, but we do our best. And actually it's also not the end of the world if some of these modules overlap a little. But if you want to make a course, actually, you would just pick a bunch of them and put them in an order and say, that's my course, okay? Okay, and then what happens in one of these modules? I will use the thresholding one as an example. So they all look exactly the same inside, and this is actually a more or less literal copy and paste from how the carpentry's old website looked like. So there is the prerequisites, and these are other modules that you should know before you take that one. Then there is something what are the learning objectives. Then some sentences of why should you even care to learn this. Then there is a concept map, which kind of summarizes in a very short way what you should learn. And actually, why this is important is not so much for the teaching, but for the trainer, because what if you ever go to a carpentry's instructor's course, they will teach you if that thing has more than 5 items, then it's not a good idea, okay? Because people cannot learn more than 5 new concepts. So this is basically for us, if we create a new module and there are more than 5 things, then we know it's too much and we have to split it, okay? So this is more like for you as a teacher to think really, and it's not easy. Huh? I mean, everyone has to really sit down. What do I want to actually say, right? But it's also very interesting. I really love these discussions, to be honest. Then we have one figure which helps the teacher to just demonstrate the concept. And again, making this figure is like a lot of work because you have to really sit down and think, is that the best possible figure? Because we only want to have one figure. So, and I don't know, if they don't think that's the absolute best figure, then let me know, then we will make a better one. Okay, and then there can be some additional explanation, but normally not so much because this is not yet for self-learning. This is really for teachers. So this is for you, not for the students so much, right? And then the heart of this are activities. And the kind of thing that's very different to the carpentries is, in terms of spirit, there is this thing which we call an activity preface. And that's very carefully written that it doesn't say anything about a specific software, okay? This is just a conceptual thing that you do. And then you can actually choose, hey, how do I want to teach it today, right? Do I want to teach it in ImageJ GUI, ImageJ Macro, Napari, or whatever, right? And then you can click there, and then there is how you would do this with the different platforms, okay? And here the idea was that everything that is above is in principle generic, right? And then you don't have to always duplicate. And actually, it's also just fun to see, hey, how do I do this here and here, right? It's actually interesting. And then people can kind of click along. And I just wanted to show something that I didn't expect, but what is really handy is, just for you that didn't know this, you can actually drag and drop a link on Fiji and it opens. It doesn't happen if bioformats need to kick in, unfortunately, and they can't fix it. So this is only if the ImageJ opener says, hey, I can do this. But that's kind of very convenient for teaching. Then for teaching the Python, this is now what we mainly do. So I did not want to really commit to notebooks. So this is not really a notebook, it's just a script. But what you see here is this kind of stuff. And that is actually something, so if you have something that's called Jupytext installed in Jupyter notebooks and you open that text file, it will actually render cells. So if you're really a hardcore Jupyter lover, you could still use that thing and get something that looks a bit like a notebook. But how we teach this in practice is, this is also something for the trainer. So we try to make everything that's below that to be sort of one thing that you teach. And then we tell the students, please copy and paste this into the notebook and press Shift Enter, right? Okay, so this is how this is structured. And then actually, if then they should do something in Napari, then it says Napari : whatever. Okay, so this is basically, and then there are all these modules. Then I think now we have used this in about, I don't know, 20 courses, and it maybe were like 500 participants or so. And actually many of the courses that we did, we have them somewhere here. And then how that would work is, for example, I mean, then this is basically another document that kind of links together the whole thing. And one thing that is really nice about this, I think, is because of these modules, right? So here are actually all the modules. It's very easy to distribute the work. It's really good to onboard new trainers. You just give them a very small task, right? This is your module, and the rest you just a helper or so, yeah. So that's what I like now also for in terms of broadening the database of trainers, let's say.